Warner Bros.' new free-to-play fighting game MultiVersus features characters from a bunch of their existing IPs. If Warner makes a success out of this mashup, they might want to think about calling themselves Smash Brothers. No? Okay, we can workshop it. The point is, like most free-to-play titles, MultiVersus doesn't need a monster PC to run. In fact, I managed to get some decent performance on AMD integrated graphics. MultiVersus is technically pretty lightweight, which isn't surprising as it's just a reskin of a GameCube game. The game is currently still in beta, so it's entirely possible that the final release of the game won't work out exactly the same as this performance-wise. My test platform is a Ryzen 5 5600G with its integrated Vega 7 GPU overclocked to 2.4 GHz with 16GB of DDR4 4000, and I tested in free-for-all mode against bots. Not knowing what to expect, I started at 1080 very high and planned to work my way down the quality settings. As it turned out, this wasn't strictly necessary. It quickly became apparent that the game has a 60 FPS cap in place, and my first match at 1080 very high averaged 57 frames per second. This, as I'd later discover, isn't necessarily representative of gameplay over all different arenas, but still, I'd call it exceptionally playable. Dropping the quality setting from very high to high was all that was needed to keep the frame rate close to that 60 FPS cap, and medium didn't really give any practical benefit. So it seems the entry-level AMD APU for this generation is more than enough to play Brawlhalla at 1080. Wait, what did I say? Really? Oh. Anyway, MultiVersus runs fine at 1080 without any need for compromise on settings, so I got to wondering, what else can it do? Turning up to 2560 by 1440, it turns out, is also very possible. Granted, 60 FPS isn't going to happen, and at very high and high, we're still stuck in the 30s and 40s. In fact, you're not reading that wrong, I did in fact see higher FPS in very high than high. This was obviously counterintuitive, so I went back and did multiple tests at each setting, and it was consistent. The very high quality settings scored significantly higher than high did, whereas medium, low and very low scores were within a frame or two of each other. I don't know if this is a quirk of the beta that will be fixed in time, or if the maps are just that varied in performance. Anyway, out of curiosity, I thought I'd have a stab at playing at 4K. Alas, this was a step too far. Very low recorded less than 24 FPS. You might find this playable and acceptable, but I don't think you'd struggle to find people who dispute that. Maybe the 5700G with its Vega 8 GPU could push a solid 30 FPS at 4K, and who knows what the next generation of APU graphics could hold. If you have any suggestions for other GPUs you'd like to see play MultiVersus, leave them below. Thanks for watching, kindly do the usual YouTube things if you feel so inclined, and I'll see you next time.